phone keeps saying there's a real good chance we'll get rain tomorrow. Let's hope it's right. I gotta water the plants today anyway. Because I don't trust the phone. I'm just kidding around, but you know what I mean? When you're capable of having meaningful conversations, you're capable of listening to meaningful conversations. If you're not capable of listening to meaningful conversations, you're not capable of having one. So if you're not taught, I guess you really have to be taught what's important, what's meaningful. You'll be in eternal wretchedness, and you'll be perpetually, just talking about meaningless bullshit, like who's going to win the football game. And I don't think the guy can do it. I've watched him, and he just doesn't have he doesn't have the eye of the tiger. You got to make sure that you when you're the big player, that you make all the big plays during the big times, or the big, and do all the big stuff, so you can get the big contract and get the big house and have sex with all the girls you want to have sex with. I'm a professional athlete, and this is a really big conversation, and what's in your wallet, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? It's like, it's eternal wretchedness. Oh, I like Blaise Pascal too, yeah. And you shouldn't have to go to a building where people manipulate each other with money and technology to talk about stuff that's meaningful and then do nothing meaningful about it. Why do you think I dropped out of ASU? These people are genocidal. They are, yeah. They want you to compete to teach history, and how can you compete to teach history? I thought the whole point of learning was to learn, And how does learning compete? If you're doing something right, then you're doing something right. If you're doing something wrong, you're doing something wrong. If you're competing, it's like, aren't we doing something wrong? Isn't that genocidal? Isn't that self-destructive? Competing to see who's going to be the best, and we're all going to fight who's going to be the best, which means all morals go out the window and all respect for life just goes, fuck! There you go. So, hi, I'm a history major. Why'd you drop out of Arizona State University? Because economics is genocidal and I'm intelligent, so I quit. Well, anybody in their right mind would quit. People not in their right mind, I got a piece of paper and I'm going to go talk about sports on TV for millions of dollars. Okay, but is that going to stop people from being murdered? Is that going to stop women from being sexually assaulted or trafficked for sex, for money? Is that going to stop children from growing up in this hell and having to live in this hell and then talk about meaningless bullshit that goes, well, he got 375 million views. Yeah, they bought one up and I was like, okay, well, what was this? This kid, stupid things we did as a kid, right? And I'm like, stupid things we did as a kid. What are stupid things we did as a kid? Stupid things we did as a kid. Well, that's hard. That's lots of stuff. In Colville, they used to moon everybody. And they had to spread eagles when they spread their butt cheeks, right? I never did, because my friends did. And I was like, okay, that's just a little bit too much information, and I really don't want to see it. And in football practice things, Chuck said on Bart's face. Okay, so I didn't want to see that. Bart was like, I was like, yeah, that's traumatic. That's like sexual assault. I guess that happens a lot with sports hazing and stuff like that. Mexico State University's basketball team. Yeah. And so, so really what they're talking about ain't really nothing new. So this is a perpetual dysfunction caused by eternal wretchedness because people don't actually live religion. They talk about religion for money and then murder over money and then blame religion. What? Okay, don't you think if you obeyed religion that you wouldn't be in buildings debating religion over money and then mass murdering over money and then science has to save us from religion? Don't you think if we live a religion that we wouldn't need science to try to save us from religion because it's not really religion? It's a corporation for genocide. I dropped out of school at Arizona State University in 1999 because economics is genocidal. I dropped out of school not because I'm stupid. It's because the people that are in charge of the institutions for money are genocidal and insane, and I didn't want to participate. I mean, anyone else? Bueller? Ben Stein's money? Oh, shit. What am I talking about? Go away! the cast of so and so and so and so, and now they've got away from Hollywood and they have a very private life, but they're very successful at being a therapist. Okay, guys, no, you can't be successful at being a therapist for money. You either use money that rapes girls to death in brothels in Juarez, or you stand up for the Lord's Prayer. You either do or do not. There is no try. I mean, you can be Miss Piggy on a commercial doing Chase Bank commercial things, but you're still participating in the rape of the little girl in Juarez. Even if they killed her during COVID because nobody wanted to pay money to have sex with her in 2020, you're still doing what did it. Even if you try to wash away the crime, it's still there. You can't make it go away. It's still happening, sweetheart. It's another fucking insurance commercial. Even if it's with a fucking lizard with a British, is it British accent? I always thought it was kind of Australian, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But no, he never said mate. Well, he doesn't have to say mate to have an Australian accent. He just has to have it. Okay, Aussies. How do Aussies talk? Oi, oi. Okay, guess it is British. Okay, so oi, Mick. Okay. Yeah, I guess it is British. It's not. Okay, he does have a British accent. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought, okay. Always kind of thought he wasn't really thinking. He's, okay. It's a goddamn cartoon character talking to people about money. Okay, did you see why I wasn't really paying attention? I don't know. I was thinking about Freda Felcher and French ticklers. I have no idea. What do you think about? I don't know. Okay, so this spring or summer, we're going to find out how amazing, the guy who gets over mono in 2 weeks immune system really is. See how tangible it is to kick out chemical poisonings from Moderna viruses in your liver and then have your body go into remission again and then start to recover. And we'll see how that works. And if it doesn't and there seems to be more crap going in that I can't get out in time, maybe that will get rid of people that say, hey, we need more robots and cars in order to have world peace. Maybe technology will do something, spectacular, immaculate. You couldn't think of anything tighter if you could imagine it. Just forgive, debt, and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. There you go. Works perfectly, doesn't it? And everything's the way that it should be, but not everything's not the way it should be. John Denver was wrong. It's not true. Okay. We're in eternal wretchedness because we're selfish. We were given life because of the natural laws provided to sustain our lives. We need to apply the physics of the Lord's Prayer. We don't do that. Okay, we're at a constant threat of not being able to do that anymore. The polar ice caps are melting. What is it? Hello? Why do we want Greenland? Because we want to shoot bombs at the Russians, because the Russians want to shoot bombs at us to manipulate everybody's money, to forget about the girl that died during the COVID and the brothels in Juarez. She doesn't exist. She doesn't exist. What's her name? What does it matter? What her name is. You didn't care. You don't fucking care. You're not gonna ever fucking care. You're not gonna ever fucking know. It happened. It just didn't happen. Because if it's not in our archives, it doesn't exist. Okay? So you'd rather watch some idiot write science fiction that's not tangible to kill your time than get up to save the girl from being raped to death in the brothel during the COVID. Because you're such fucking assholes. But let's trend some guy running around. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. He's an illusionist, right? Yeah. He trends, but that is so superficial and because it's cute and it's funny, more cute and funny than the girl in the blue sweats showing you her sexual genitalia parts. And I would pay attention to me, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. I like lots of money to have sex. Isn't his about the same? Pay attention to me, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. We need lots of money to have sex. No, you don't. No. All you need is Willy Wonka's imagination and a hand. Is that sex? If you do it in public, you'll get arrested for it. I guess I'd call it sex. There you go. What do you mean you get arrested for it? What's the word for the day? Paul Rubens. That's 2 words. There you go. That's right. Yeah, he was at a place where people look at porno and he started masturbating to it. You know, the ones where you put the coins in the chairs with the little videos and stuff. Yeah. And then he was incarcerated at a place where, because he was doing it in front of other people. So yeah, it is sex. His hand, his penis, his jail time, his losing his children's TV show. You know what I'm saying? So don't do it in public. Go in the bathroom. Do it in the shower. It's your business. Don't tell anybody about it. Why? Well, because they're all self-righteous hypocrites. Their science is going to save us from religion. Seriously. Guys, if, which is not a big if, it's very tangible, if corporations like, say, the Vatican, the Quorum of the 12, and people in the Pentagon invented a wormhole and went and retrieved Jesus and used stem cell research to move him to the year 3000, okay, that was obviously conflict with other corporations that are saying their religion is correct and the other is not. And it wasn't to make the religion correct. It was to maintain power economically through the perception of the corporation they call religion. And then they blame religion for corporations. And that's not, if you forgive debt and trespass, when you forgive debt and trespass, love one another, turn faithful peace, you don't have corporations, but you still have religion. And people always do that. This is not a religion. It's like, I agree. What you believe in is not a religion. It's a corporation trying to supplant religion with corporations. So, yeah, Jesus is God and he's the only way. To corporations that mass murder people over money. Okay. But Jesus' faith in God is the only way to save us from corporations that murder people over money. Okay. But he's not the only religion, but he's the only way to understand his religion. And when he gives me other people and says, these people have the same religion, you better believe me and Jesus more than you believe that pastor asking for money to get the little girl raped to death that was killed in 2020 in Juarez. And if you don't, I can't wash that sin away. A little bit of soap will never wash away your tears. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not, even though these are 25 to 26 minutes, okay? These are the most brilliant public displays of eternal, faithful caring and love on social media. TikTok found a rock, gonna knock disposer socks off. Whoa, they're purple. It's Keisha, I don't know. It was a long time ago. It was like around 2010 when Natalie was watching The Computer Nerd and he was doing parodies with, with 99 kangaroos came out of your closet and ate all your food. It was the butterfly thing with I think I like to make myself believe that planet Earth moves slowly. But he took it and made a parody of it, And he was a funny kid. It was completely, yeah. And same stuff that's trending now. The Computer Nerd, It's 2010, TikTok found a rock, gonna knock this poster's socks off. Whoa, they're purple. And Tyler likes to play Xbox and he likes to play. I wonder if Tyler still likes to play Xbox. Is that important? No, it's not even important if Tyler likes to do Tai Chi and yoga and has sex with his best friend who he met at college in the dorms and found out they were homosexual. That's irrelevant too. We're still not living the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer, and it's not doing anything to stop the little girl dying in 2020 in the brothels in Juarez because you guys just don't fucking really care. You say you care, but you really don't. Because if you really care, you get up and do something about it. That's when I found out that the people in the military aren't really brave and they don't really care because they don't want to risk their job or their life to save that girl in Mexico. Mark, he's the same way. They don't know how to really care. They're afraid, if you try to put these people out of business, they'll kill you and all your family. Right? But at least you won't have to tolerate them. Right? Have faith and jump. Judah Krishnamurti, the person hanging from the cliff, praying to God to save him, have faith and jump. Still don't get it? Okay. Life's eternal grace is infinite. Why are you on the mountain and why are you praying to God to save you for doing something that you don't need to be doing and you shouldn't be doing? Okay. Should you be in competition over the money? Should you be deriving entertainment from people trying to save little girls from getting raped to death in brothels across the world because you're not living the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer and you call yourself a Christian? And hey, look, that's Jim Caviezel and that's Mel Gibson. And hey, this is the Passion of Christ. I don't think so. The Passion of Christ is living the Lord's Prayer. In that movie with Jim Caviezel and Mel Gibson directing, where, when, who, what, when, where Harold says, hey, we are not living the Lord's Prayer. We should be living the Lord's Prayer. Where does that come up at any way in Aramaic and or English? Not once. Okay. It doesn't come up in any of the Harry Potter movies. It doesn't come up in any of the Fabulous Beast movies. It does not come up in any of the Tolkien books. It doesn't come up in any of the C.S. Lewis books. So why do you guys always sit there? They're amazing Christian authors. We're very, very Christian. They're about as Christian as R.K. Rowling's. There's no Christian in it at all. Nor Islam B, right? And like I explained to my sister the other day, well, no, Muslims are like this. Val, Islam means living the eternal, faithful peace of Jesus Christ. That's what it means. It says so in the first 3 pages of the Quran, if you can even read English. Apparently, most people can't. My dad read it and got all mad and talked about what a liar and a bullshit artist Muhammad is, because Muhammad was saying that Jesus is the Messiah and not God, and that we should all live the commands of Jesus and stop trying to turn our gods. It really pissed my dad off. Okay. And why are we not talking about this in public schools and or private schools? Why are the kids sitting there seeing the holes in the tiles as a challenge to throw a Post-it note airplanes into them? And that's how they spend their time. You think there's a problem with the technology? That it's still genocidal and suicidal as opposed to, really intelligent? Holy Dante's Inferno, Batman, or Holy Pilgrim's Progress, Batman. I don't think those people really understand what they're reading or talking about. Because when you read something and you realize, okay, I did when I was in the Mormon church and I left. Because there was so much mythology in there, I couldn't stand it. And then because the mythology made the stories hard to understand and the pastors who always needed money explained them wrong. Even with the verbal manipulation and the mythology, if you follow the consistencies, if you read the Bible from cover to cover, if you're an intelligent person, not a person who's gullible and believes that, that Homer really told the truth about the Iliad and the Odyssey, right? I believe it. It was real. They had those back then. Release the Kraken. Son of a bitch. Here we go again. Okay, so you got to understand. Okay. No, that was just a bunch of guys that were up to no good in other people's neighborhood, and then the no good from their neighborhood they went to go do happened in their own neighborhood when they were gone. That's the Iliad and the Odyssey. Okay. All the make-believe stuff in between, okay, that ain't real. That ain't them dogs real. That's not really a talking gecko for British accent. It's a stupid actor doing things for money that gets little girls raped to death from brothels. And Juarez, I don't know if it's still happening. I can't tell you. I know we still have sexual exploitation and manipulation and trafficking. Okay, maybe a lot of the governments have cracked down on the actual brothels, like in Las Vegas, Nevada, to try to get selling sex as an adult. Okay, because you guys won't live the Lord's Prayer, that's not a crime. Okay. Condoms are mandatory in Pahrump. That's not a crime. That's people making a business arrangement that are considered adults and, having sex with somebody with a condom or going to a university and talking about the necessity of how business works to make sure that you can pull off this arrangement without being incarcerated by a bunch of self-righteous hypocrites who call themselves religious. Right? Do you understand? I would like to change my sex so I don't have children. So the torture ends with me. Doesn't work that way. No. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Think about it, stud. Huh? Temples are temples, so why should it be that the soul tries to run away and say we're all behaving so awfully? No, it does not work that way. I still have to share memories with you even if you cease to exist as a human being. So the only solution is not be as about anyway, one boy and one vote. No, that's wrong. You don't vote. Your opinion, okay, isn't important. Okay? So you elect to live the Lord's Prayer because it's not based on opinion, it's based on fact of eternity and the essence that provides our eternity. So one man, one vote isn't the only way because people vote for money. You got to live with the crooked politician. You don't. You got to swim with the sharks in the sea. Why? The crocodile in the river? Why are you swimming? You got to get money. If you have a really good garden and nobody asks you for money to live here, you don't have to, at one time in your life at all, go surfing now. Everybody's learning how to swim with the sharks in the sea or the crocodiles in the river. You don't have to. It's not necessary. You can live. You can dig a ditch. Okay? You're not vulnerable. You're on the ground. The crocodile comes after you. You sit there and go, I have a gun. Don't try to eat me or I will shoot you. Diego will kill you to pay his bills. No, it's a critter. It'll eat you if you don't eat it. That's a crocodile. They're like that. It's the medulla oblongata thing. A lot of linebackers have the same thing. Okay, he's got to attack you to get paid. James, sit down. Here's your participation trophy. All right, here's your participation trophy wife. If you try to turn your son into a superstar linebacker instead of just a participation trophy because he just really doesn't want to participate because he's sick of the bullshit. You ever think of that? Maybe he thought it was illegit. Maybe he's more intelligent than you. Maybe he's the man in the family that's more like Jesus and you're the one that's more like Goliath. Now go get paid and win a Super Bowl. Okay, do you understand? Hey, get it right? I don't know about you guys do the things. Every time I see Tony Dungy, I get sad. I just think that his son was depressed because life was so horrible that he took his life. Okay. I can't help but think that every time I see the Super Bowl shows. Sometimes you laugh when you're crying inside. Yeah, Jesse fun. And I feel that for Tony every time I look at him when he's doing these major events. Because it's still there. It's Jimmy Webb and MacArthur Park. It doesn't go away. Tony's pain doesn't go away. And the more attention to the event, okay, the more when he goes home, the more he thinks about his son. That's horrible. I know. I don't have that problem. Nobody pays attention to me. No, your kids are killed. No, but they told me that, go away and I don't care what happens to you and I don't care if you live or die. I have to go make money for sex. Oh. Well, that sucks. I want to try to stop money for sex so we can all just be around each other and love one another. You're crazy. Okay. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. If you don't forgive them 7 times upon infinity, you'll become the people at the universities that run the TV stations. Oh, God, make it stop. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. Okay. I didn't play basketball for the last 3 days, and so, not getting the circulation and stuff I need. It was harder to sleep to get the crap out, so I got to get up and move around. So, I have to get up and move around. I got to quit being depressed. I gotta think of the little girls in the brothels during the COVID that no longer are with us physically because they need someone like me to be heard and seen and listened to worldwide and not superficial trending for money assholes like you. Because you're genocidal, suicidal, homicidal maniacs. It's obvious. Every time you look at your entertainment, it's so fucking superficial. It just makes me want to just walk up and scream in your face. You don't care that the money you make gets little girls raped to death? And if they don't rape them to death, In 2020, when no one pays to rape them to death, they have to kill them to get rid of the evidence. You're still participating. You turn dysfunction and murder and sex into entertainment for money. It's all the same money. Even if you're being cute and funny and doing parodies on egomaniacs talking about their dysfunctional sexual life for money, it's still all the same money. Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. Then if you want to sing a song, we'll all cry about Karen Carpenter dying from anorexia because of body image for people to feel sexy and want to be competitive. That's insane. I know. It's insane. The competition's insane. The girl dying from the insanity? Yeah, it's insane. What do you want me to say? Oh, it's wonderful. It's marvelous. Here, want a cigarette? Okay. I love you, all right? Peace out.